Picture this, a middle school student at the nut-free table decided she wasn't going to wait for someone else to explain food allergies in a way that made kids feel seen. That young girl is Riya Jain, who took her idea off to college and won a $30,000 prize in a venture contest at Duke before most college students even pick a major. Riya is the creative force behind the book series The Land of Can, a series of stories that empower children to see what they can do instead of what they can't. Let's wrap up our year with a story of creativity, courage, and possibility. Welcome to the Don't Feed the Fear podcast, where we dive into the complex world of food allergy anxiety. I'm your host, Dr. Amanda Whitehouse, food allergy anxiety psychologist and food allergy mom. Whether you're dealing with allergies yourself or supporting someone who is, join us for an empathetic and informative journey toward food allergy calm and confidence. Thank you for joining me here on the Don't Feed the Fear podcast. I got to meet you recently in Chicago, and I'm excited to talk to you more and tell my listeners all about you and all the things you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be on and to talk all things, but we have a lot to go through.
I was going to say, it's a lot of things, so if we don't get through it all, you can come back sometime, but let's see what we can squeeze in. Can you start just by telling people a little bit about you and your background and your connection to the food allergy world?
Yeah, totally. So, hi, I'm Riya. I'm currently 19 years old. I'm in college at Duke University, and I'm also the founder of The Land of Can. The Land of Can creates empowering children's books on various health topics, but one of our main focuses is food allergy. And that's because I grown up my whole life being allergic to peanuts and tree nuts. I used to be allergic to eggs, grew out of that luckily, but I still have peanut and tree nut and have had to navigate that throughout all aspects of my life, as so many people and families do across the world. And so for me, my food allergy journey has been, a lot like many others where it comes in waves. And there's some fun moments where I feel like my food allergy has helped me grow as a person. But there's also some, of course, not so fun moments where people have misunderstood my food allergy, dealt with reactions and whatnot. And so my journey with my food allergy has been a lot of self growth and making things better for the next generation. And so, one of the biggest things for me that was tough with my food allergy was feeling the need to define myself by it and it becoming my whole personality in elementary school and middle school. And so, to ensure that that never happened to any other kid with any health condition, but food allergy specifically, I wrote a children's book in seventh grade, which we can get more into. But that ended up expanding my journey into the land of can and why I'm here today.
Yeah, let's just stick with that while you're mentioning it. Let's talk
Yeah.
about what you came up with in seventh grade and then how it grew into what you ended up creating.
Yeah, totally. So in seventh grade, I wrote and published the class that canned food allergies. I actually have it here. So this is the class that canned food allergies. It's an educational children's book that's different than the rest because one, it's made by kids like me who actually understand what kids want to know and want to hear, other than a doctor trying to put a ton of information into a book that's not interesting. And it not only empowers those with the food allergy, but also teaches our classmates and our friends what food allergies are and how we actually want to be supported and understood in a fun and educational way that kids love. And so after that took off in seventh grade, actually sitting at that nut-free table, which so many people talk about, it's very isolating, but can also be a fun place because you're not super overcrowded. But at that food allergy table, people sat there who didn't have food allergies. They were kids with asthma, diabetes, celiac, tons of different conditions. And everyone dealt with the same thing. Everyone was defining themselves by this thing that they couldn't do or couldn't control. And so that's when my mind really expanded, and I realized that this issue doesn't just pertain to those with food allergies, but rather to all health conditions. And beyond that, everyone, period. Everyone defines themselves by things that they can't do or aren't good at. And so that launched what the Land of Can is today. So we've over a dozen children's books on various health topics, ranging from food allergies, asthma, anxiety, sleep and screen time, nutrition, germs and sneezing, COVID. It goes on and on. And not only applying to health conditions, but also just empowerment in general. Like I said, this message applies to everyone. We reach out to underserved populations a ton, which has been incredibly meaningful to me. I've been able to speak in some underserved communities, give away the book in tons of different libraries across Chicago, across all neighborhoods, across the US, to public schools. which has been just incredible. But then also to schools, hospitals, pediatrician offices, allergist offices, and to anyone who wants it. I mean, we're on our website and Amazon. So there's really a lot of avenues for us, which is really exciting. And we're continuously expanding. There's so many health topics that we want to cover that people keep telling us you need to make a book on celiac or ADHD. And we're like, there's so much to do. And so that gives me a lot of promise that what we're doing is right and people want more.
You're in school full time at Duke. What's your plan at this point? I mean, you've got the business going already, but what else are
Yeah.
you working on?
Yeah, so I'm a public policy major at Duke with an innovation entrepreneurship minor. And that sort of comes from my dual passions of creating social good through policy, but then also through entrepreneurship. And so, really looking at that as how it intersects is sort of what the land of Can is, and is what I'd want to focus on in the future are companies that are doing social good and social impact, and entrepreneurship that achieves that as well. But what I'm looking at to do in the future is possibly law school or some sort of job in politics. I'm just really passionate about making things better for future generations. And there's different avenues to do that. And so I'm still exploring which avenue is best. But, I still have time. And so we're still figuring it out every day.
Yeah, lots of time and lots of directions that you could still go in. So you entered an entrepreneurship contest at Duke that you won a prize for the Land of Cam?
Yeah, so that was the most like probably peak moment in my entire life. I applied for the Duke Startup Showcase. So every college kind of has a pitch competition where they give away tons of money and resources and grant funding that's non-dilutive. And I just wanted to get my name out there as a freshman. I wanted to just apply, see. I knew I wasn't going to get it. I was like, this is not going to happen. I'm just going to put my name out there so they know who I am. And I submitted the application like literally at 11:59 p.m., right when it was due the night before. And I got an email back that I was invited for round two. So I had to do a live pitch on Zoom. And after like 6 or 7 rounds, I finally was invited to the live showcase. I knew I was going to get a prize, but still had no idea. And so my mom flew out, everyone came. It was so exciting, so unexpected. And I pitched the Land of Can and ended up winning the entire startup showcase. So I got the grand board chart prize of $30,000 for the Land of Can and non-dilutive funding, and then tons of mentors and resources since then. Tons of trips they've flown me out to we just went to Boston and then we're going to go to New York soon to just get more exposure and better networking. And so it's just been absolutely incredible and validated what I'm doing so much.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, you mentioned that it's great that they have this mentor structure around it so they can help you with the development but you already have a pretty good mentor in your life. You mentioned that your mom flew out, and I don't know if listeners will know or connect you, but can you tell us about your mom?
Yeah, 100%. My mom is like my biggest fan. She's like one of my best friends. She's Dr. Ruchi Gupta. And so I know that that carries a lot of weight with her influence on the food allergy community. I mean, she got into food allergies before I was even born, so it ended up just becoming a part of her everyday life, which is why I think that makes her such a great doctor, a great researcher, scientist, because she understands the day-to-day struggles that are actually faced in the food allergy community. But she's been so supportive of me, of course, and loves entrepreneurship. She has her own company that she's working on, Yobi. And so entrepreneurship runs in the family, writing books runs in the family. She has her own book. And yeah, she could be more supportive and encourages me to speak whenever she does and gives me those opportunities, which I'm super grateful for. And I don't take them for granted.
And you're involved with Yobi as well, right?
Yes. Yes. So Yobi's an all natural skincare, hair care brand born out of love with the nature of science. And I've been working on their social media and their outreach. We're really trying to get it to as many people as possible. People suffering specifically from eczema, psoriasis, dandruff, cradle cap. I was the inspiration of Yobi because when I was born, I had terrible cradle cap and there were no solutions. It was like all steroids, oils, chemicals. And both my parents, as two incredible doctors and scientists, knew there have to be some sort of better way, natural way. And so Yobi was born, all natural ingredients, honey, turmeric, vitamin B12, and my cradle cap went away and never came back. Fast forward tons of years, they decided to make it into a full-fledged company. after my mom was giving it out in clinic over and over. They were like, what are you giving to your patients?" And so now it's super exciting and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've tried it in my house and it's lovely. I'll put links,
Yeah.
and all of these
Yeah.
things,
Right.
obviously.
Right here. Yeah, my Yobi cream. So,
So what you're talking about made me think of something that is really important that you touched on earlier and what you were trying to accomplish with the Land of Canned books. But I bet, especially when your mom is Dr. Ruchi Gupta, and then you end up having food allergies, and you must have been just immersed in this world of allergy, even more so than other kids, to where, like you said, it becomes to this point where your whole identity seems to be created around it. And obviously, you're working on it. Can you tell us what the before felt like for young people who are listening or parents who have kids? Talk to us about what it's like to be kind of wrapped up where that's the only thing that seems to define you or your identity.
yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that identity is a complicated thing because it's a combination of what you think of yourself. Of course, that should be everything. That should be solely what identity is who you think you are and who you know you are. But I think at a young age, obviously, when we're still trying to form our identities and sense of self, it becomes really complex because we base our identity off of what other people think we are until we've gained a sense of self. And so, at a young age, when you're told there's something that you can't do, where no one really understands that, no kid, it's like a very unique thing to you. It's very easy to for other people to sort of identify that as your thing. I remember being called the nut allergy girl, like that was who I was. It was the weird kids table. It was the nut allergy table, which it obviously wasn't. And then, but as a kid, that's so hard to grapple with and so hard to understand. And so, what do? You kind of lean into it and make that your thing. When in reality, for me, it was soccer and magic and math. I loved math, but it's all these other things where the other kids are known as that. It's like, oh, that's the athletic boy, or oh, that's the really smart girl, oh, and that's the food allergy girl. So one of those things is not like the other. One of those things is something that you can't control and you can't do. And if we walked around defining ourselves by those things all day, the things that we aren't, no one would know who we are. And so that's why I start off all my talks. Anytime I give a pitch or a talk, me and my co-founder JJ start off with a little bit where we are like, "Hi, my name is not, Ashley or Kelsey. I'm not 5 years old. I can't do a backflip. I'm not from New York. I'm not from Durham, and I can't eat nuts. So I just told you a ton of things, but you know nothing about me." And it's all the same with food allergies or whatever health condition it is, and that can be really really tough for a kid, but I think if parents can understand what that feels like and teach that to their kids at a young age, I mean, that's what we're trying to do with the Land of Can, with the class that can food allergies, is that you are who you are, not who you're not. And if we can get that message to kids at an early age, then hopefully it can become a little better for them.
Is there a good section to read a few pages of?
Well, yeah, totally. Yeah, so this is a little quick preview of the class that can food allergies. Everyone has things they can't do. No one should ignore these things. We should accept them and understand them because they're very important. But we should not let them define us, and we certainly shouldn't be embarrassed by them or let them make us sad. I learned a lot today about allergies and about friendship, and I'm ready to do my part. I'm ready too, exclaimed Nia as the class nodded. With a big smile, Mrs. Can immediately jumped from her seat. We all jumped too. We knew what she was going to do. Every kid in Mrs. Can's class of cans, kids can be a good friend. And yeah, that's that's the end. So that's a little preview of the spoiler of the ending of the class that can food allergies.
I love, and even on the back, there's a spot. I am, and then a blank.
Yes,
I can't.
100%. I am, I can. We also have this in hospital waiting rooms, just little cards. I think I have mine in my phone actually. I can show you. So this is our little card. It's super tiny, size smaller than my hand. But these are all our 14 words of can. So 14 words we worked with experts that they say your child needs to know. And then on the back, it has the same I am, Riya, and then I can. I was a little not creative, but I said do anything.
Right? That's optimistic though. It's confident. So
Right.
even if
It
you're
is
not the most
confident.
creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. You mentioned a lot about what's different about your book and all your books. But one of the things that jumps out at me too is a lot of books about food allergies are for the kids with food allergies, but this is for everyone
Yeah.
to help them understand, right? Can you talk about why that's so important?
Yeah, 100%. I think too often resources are that I've seen about food allergies and read books. As a kid who has food allergies, I don't necessarily need to learn all the nitty-gritty of how to use an EpiPen and what an action plan is and what cross contact is, right? Like we all know that. Parents who are listening to this, your kids know that. They know all this stuff, and so it's not helpful. It's really not. What's helpful is the empowerment aspect. And so, of course, there needs to be both, right? Like, you need to be able to share this with your friends and classmates because a huge thing for the land of Can is when you feel understood, you feel empowered, right? So, when your friends understand your health condition and know how to support you, you therefore feel empowered. But empowerment comes in many forms. And so, this book and all our books do a great job at tackling both ends of that spectrum, not just the kids who don't have the health condition, but the actual kid themselves.
Yeah, that's so important. That's such an important side of it. The parents that I work with or the people listening have kids who are younger kids in school ages. And just what you said, it's not that they want their own child, they want the community that their child is a part of to understand. So this is a great book
Exactly.
for teachers to read to the class for everyone to understand, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember being in my classroom in probably fourth or fifth grade, and the nurse comes in and gave this like hugely embarrassing talk on food allergies. And it just puts you in such an awkward position. That's not how you want your classmates to learn about food allergies, and clearly it's not very effective if they're still calling you the nut allergy girl or still bullying kids who have food allergies. It's not an effective talk. And so I would much preferred the nurse just come in, and it doesn't have to be the nurse, it could be a teacher, it could be me reading the physical book itself instead of a medical talk.
Expanding upon that, as the kid in the class who's, quote, the food allergy kid,
Yeah.
how else do you want adults to be handling this and modeling it for kids so that it doesn't feel that way, so that you feel understood, so that you can be empowered without feeling singled out or defined by it?
Yeah, it's a difficult combination of things, but it doesn't have to be difficult. I mean, I think that adults can do their part, teachers, parents, by, of course, explaining what it is and how they can keep their friends safe, but also that it's just one tiny part of their identity. I've done exercises where you make like an identity tree, like all the things that encapsulate who you are. Yes, of course, my food allergy is a part of who I am. That'll be on the tree, but there's like 50 other branches. There's so many other things that I care so much more about and that actually make me me. My trilogy doesn't make me who I am. And so I think as long as kids understand that and know that whatever this is just a small part of them, the same way that another kid's ADHD is a small part of them, another kid's anxiety, another kid's insomnia or whatever it is it's just a small part of them. It's not who they are. Then I think we can develop some more empathy for each other.
I think that's a really beautiful message and so important for so many topics. Like you're saying, it applies so widely, not just specifically to this idea.
Yeah, 100%.
From such a young age, you were kind of building this business and taking this idea and running with it as an entrepreneur. What's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a journey. It's like my roles in the company have changed tremendously. I mean, I've had such a great support system with my co-founder, so JJ Velopez. He's been absolutely incredible. We've been co-founders since the very beginning. So we've written and published all our books together. He's older than me. When I was in seventh grade, he was in college at Wharton at UPenn. And so he was obviously handling much more of the logistical aspects, financial aspects, legal aspects, publishing, navigating all of that. And I guess for me in seventh grade, it was more of a creative side of things, actually writing the book, talking to the illustrator, putting my perspective of what I would want in this book for myself. But as I've grown up and more recently in college and later in high school, I wanted to take over a lot of those roles. And so I've more recently been playing a larger part in the legal system of the land of Can because that's one of my current interests of career and financial aspects. I'm wanting to be more involved on that side of things. And so obviously you can't do it all and you have to pick certain things that you want to be your part of a company when you have a team, but it has developed and I'm so grateful to have had that experience of leadership at a young age because it makes me value the way I look at the world so much more. I mean, everything I see, I look at it differently. I'm like, so much work has gone into creating that logo, right? Like they probably looked at 1,000 different types of fonts for this bag of sun chips that's sitting over here, right? Everything is a company and there's so much effort into things that we don't really think about. And so I think even watching ads, all of it, it's like you really pay a lot more attention to things and feel a greater gratitude for those things.
You mentioned obviously this emphasis on not focusing on what we can't do because of food allergies, but I'm thinking of all of the things you can do because of your food allergies. And as you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, the strengths that have contributed to all you've accomplished.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think food allergies has, while it's not who I am, has contributed to a huge part of how I've become who I've become. I mean, I feel the number one thing for me is empathy. I feel that I have such a strong sense of empathy and understanding what other people are going through because of my food allergy. I often think, no one understands me. Um, no one knows what it's like to go to a party and eat nothing and even though it looks so delicious because the chef said it may have nuts in it, even though he's not sure. So I think I have such a greater empathy for people who have conditions that I don't have, for people who are suffering through things that I don't understand because I know what it feels like to not be understood. And so I think empathy is the number one thing. Another thing is definitely like self advocacy. I mean, from a young age, you're talking to the waiter, you're talking to the servers, you're telling them about your allergy, you're advocating for yourself, talking to your teachers, you're telling your friends, you're at a super young age where most people's parents are ordering for them or holding their hand through all of it because it's scary to talk to adults. But that's something that kids with allergies have to do, and they don't have a choice. And so those are two of the ways that food allergies have made me who I am. Also, self-restraint is another huge thing. I think I'm a very simple person because of my food allergy. I don't need a lot because we were able to go to the ice cream store with our sports team and not get anything, and we're fine with that because that's what we're used to. Where someone who maybe isn't used to that, that would be like a big thing for them, possibly. So self-restraint is another thing that I've been able to, I think, carry from food allergies. Putting things into perspective and becoming happy with the little things.
Yeah. Well, on that note, all of those things that you're carrying now into college and planning for your future, can you talk a little bit about for you what life is like at college with food allergies?
It's definitely something that you should research before applying to colleges because again, food is this is the first time you're away from your family. Parents are terrified to send their food allergic kid off to college, boarding school, whatever it is, because then they're fully advocating for themselves. You're not there to hold their hand or remind them to tell the waiter anymore. And so it is something to look for, but I am super grateful for Duke and what they've done with my food allergy. Duke is an entirely nut-free campus. So I have never felt more safe here than like my entire anywhere else. Like this has just been such an incredible opportunity for me. I've gotten to try so many different foods I've never tried before. Like I get Asian food all the time at the dining hall, which I've never had. I find I get to eat Indian food out that's not homemade because it's completely nut free. They also have the first standalone top 14 allergen free restaurant on campus. It's called It's Time and it's actually delicious. It's like Mediterranean, like kava. And no one even knew that it was, I didn't even know it was known as top 14 allergen free. I thought it was just a good place to eat, but it's top 14 allergen free and they made it delicious, not how one would expect a top 14 place to taste like. And so honestly, when I go home for breaks, I sometimes forget to tell the waiters or my friends that, oh my God, I have a food allergy because at college it's been so easy to navigate. But it is, and it's obviously not the case at all colleges. I've just been lucky with the circumstances of this one. But it is something to look out for because it immensely changed my quality of life coming to a place like this. Whereas a place where you're in a rush, getting food from the dining hall constantly and having to mention your allergy within all of that and manage your classes, I feel like it'd be quite stressful. And so doing some research is definitely important.
Have there been any surprises? Anything that you didn't anticipate?
I think something that could be surprising is that people in college are definitely much more mature than people in high school or middle school, obviously. But I think people here see it as something very normal. I've never been taunted necessarily or anything like that because of my food allergy. People are just much more mature and have hopefully gained a broader sense of self and sense of empathy at this point in their lives. I know that's not stagnant for all people in college, but I think as an overarching thing to make yourself feel better about yourself. Like when I go to dinner with my friends outside of Duke, where I do have to tell the waiter about my food allergy, I don't feel embarrassed to mention it. They remind me to, actually. And so I think because there's such a broad range of people here, I was able to find very kind friends who support me in all aspects of my life.
Was it not like that as much when you were younger? The stigma is one thing, but bullying and
Yeah.
intentionally picking on is different.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't fully experience, I wouldn't say complete bullying because of my food allergy. They did call it the weird kids table, like there were little jabs like that, or, your natural selection, like food allergy is natural selection, or things that people think are jokes that aren't, or oh my God, I could give this to you and you would die. Like I should put this in your food. Like taunts like that, I guess one could call bullying, but for me it was so normal that I wasn't like I'm being bullied. But I do know of people, like I know of friends who were chased around with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like physically chased across a field, like across recess, which could be so harmful and is so harmful. It's not funny. I told my friends like don't send me those things. It's like I'm not gonna laugh. It's just not funny. Pick any other joke. And so I wouldn't say I experienced complete bullying, but I've definitely seen it happen and experienced a microdose of it.
I get what you're saying, that you just accepted that that was kind of the way it is. But to even be taunted or teased that someone would do that to you, to something that literally could be life threatening to you, is
Yeah.
that's so different from like, oh, your hair looks bad today.
Yeah. One thing that I honestly continue practicing as an adult that we can all practice that I learned as a kid was if someone can't fix something in 30 seconds or less, like don't mention it. So if it's your food allergy, right? Like we can't fix that in 30 seconds or less, so don't make fun of it. But if someone has a little smudge of food on their cheek, you can be like, "Oh, you have food on your cheek," because they can fix that. But anything else, like your hair looks terrible today. Like I can't go back and restyle my hair, right? So
Right.
I think that's something that we can continue to practice.
I love that one. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. And it's that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like if you're saying it, because that's the difference between saying it to be helpful to someone. I don't want you to be embarrassed, or let me help you fix this real quick,
exactly.
versus I am just insulting the way that you are or exist in this world or your physical appearance. Right.
Exactly. 100%.
That's a good one. I wanted to touch on another big thing that you're involved in, which this is making me think of, is the film. They're calling it a docudrama that you're going to be a part of. And I think all of these messages we're talking about sound like that's what this is going to be touching on, right?
Yes, 100%. I'm a part of the Just Like You film on food allergy that's coming out very soon. They've been working on it for years now. We filmed this I think about 3 years ago, which is incredible to think about. But I'm super excited for people to finally get to watch it. It's going to be incredible. It's a combination of real life accounts. So myself talking about my food allergy, many other people talking about it in a very deep, vulnerable sense. So that's the docu. And then the drama part, we have incredible actors and actresses. I know Augie and Ava from Girl Meets World are in it, and I got to work with them. They were incredible people. And they're going to be acting out sort of a real life food allergic scene, which was incredibly compelling. Parents first like real life accounts of reactions and how to navigate that. It'll be an incredible resource, I think, in the duality of people who do have food allergies. I would love to watch. I loved watching it. People would love to watch this, but then also people who don't or have no correlation to it would find it incredibly interesting and hopefully learn something from it.
Yeah. So if I'll put the links in the show notes. If they follow Just Like You films, that's
Yeah.
probably the best way to get the updates on the film.
Yes.
Um, Tell people how they can find your books and the Land of Can,
Yeah.
everything that goes along with Land of Can.
100%. So you can find our books on thelandofcan.com. All of our books are currently on there. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Land of Can. No spaces or anything. And yeah, that's how you can follow along. You can contact me at Ria at thelandofcan.com if you want to chat or have any questions about anything. I would love to talk.
And tell people how they can utilize your books, like for people who are working in schools or who might want to talk to you about collaborating in their work environments and professional environments. What ideas
Totally.
do you have and what people might want to reach out to you about?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, if you're interested in purchasing a specific book or a few books, that's on our website, thelandofcan.com. But if you're, a nurse or work in a school or a doctor or a pediatrician or allergist, we sell all of our books B2B. So most of our work happens to be B2B, where we sell packages to pediatrician offices, schools, allergist offices, all of that. For your waiting rooms, we have QR codes with ebooks. We have an app, the Can Health app, where your patients can get customized, promo codes. They can access all of our resources online. So there's a lot of avenues that we work through that. And that is something that you should definitely contact me about on my email or DM the Instagram account, find our information on the website because we'd love to chat with you more specifically on how we can directly collaborate with your needs.
What's your biggest hope for the future?
I hope that kids with food allergies are able to hopefully, obviously, one day find some sort of relief, hopefully some sort of cure or incredible treatment. I know they're all on their way, but I think more than that, it's just to have a better sense of self of you are who you are, not who you're not. Your food allergy isn't you, but I think also again deeper appreciation for the things that your food allergy has given you, whether it's empathy, leadership, resilience, grit. You've gained so much from your food allergy. And for my future hopes of the Land of Can, I hope that the Land of Can gets to break through the food allergy community as much as possible, where every kid who has a food allergy can say that they've read the book and hopefully gain something from it.
Thank you so much for creating it. It's such a great resource, and it fills such a needed gap in the resources that are out there about food allergies. So I really appreciate you creating it and continuing to expand on it and all of these different topics that you're covering so that we have this perspective that's very much needed.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I appreciate you being here, and hopefully we'll have you back someday in the future because I have a feeling you're onto more big things as you decide where the future is going to lead you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Riya for sharing her story and her vision, and thank you for listening. Before we go, here are 3 ways that you can carry this inspiration forward. Number 1, check out thelandofcan.com and explore the website and learn more about the book series. Number 2, explore or share one of the books in the Land of Can series. Perhaps the Class That Can Food Allergies will speak to you as a tool for younger readers and families or classrooms dealing with allergy stigma and safety. Or there might be another one that jumps out at you that you want to purchase for someone as a gift or for something else that you're managing in your own home or classroom. And number 3, take a moment to reflect on your own can mindset. The new year is coming, and maybe instead of a resolution, what you need is a focus on what you can do, what you're choosing for the coming year ahead. As always, I appreciate you listening, and thank you so much to those of you who have been leaving reviews and ratings on the show, sharing it on your social media or with people that you know. I'm so appreciative as the year wraps up. I can't believe how much the show continues to grow, and I am so glad that you're finding it useful and worth your time to listen. So on that note, I hope you have a safe and healthy New Year celebration. I have really, really big things planned for 2026 that I'm so excited to share with you. So I hope you'll be back with me next year so that you don't miss any of it. The content of this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you have any questions about your own medical experience or mental health needs, please consult a professional. I'm Dr. Amanda Whitehouse. Thanks for joining me. And until we chat again, remember, don't feed fear.